Alright, what's going on guys, it's Rest. In this video I want to go over the Toxic Frost Amara build. If you don't know, this is a series I do on my channel where I take your suggestions that you leave in the comments and make them into a build. They can either be very powerful, thematic, or just generally fun, and I would try my hardest to make it for you guys. Now as always, since these builds are coming for you guys, you will get full credit and be shouted out in the video. So for this one, I actually have two people I'm going to be crediting. First, we have Blind Strike 2005 saying make a Cryo Rad build on Amara. I know that Rad isn't part of Amara's elements, but ASC works. Then we also have Well If It Isn't Me. Hey Rest, huge fan. Thank you very much. I just had a thought about a URAD using the Kensei class font for Amara. You think it could work? So as you see, we're going to have a radiation build, but we're also going to be throwing in cryo as well. And I must say this build is actually very, very good. So huge thanks to Well If It Isn't Me and Blind Strike 2005. Thank you so much for the suggestions. And I really hope you guys and everybody else enjoy this build. And if you do, these builds are always in my Discord channel. If you would like to download them, the link to the Discord will be in the description. If you download the build and enjoy the video or find it helpful in any way, consider subscribing and dropping a like. It's free. It really helps me out and I truly appreciate it. Also, if you guys don't know, the Hunt 2021 is on right now. And if you don't know what it is, this is a Borderlands community event where everybody gets together to farm to get points to see who can get the most score. Now, not only is this a competition event, this is also a charitable event where every single donation is going to be going to St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital. There is a donation link that I'm going to link in the description below. So if you can, be sure to go donate because every donation helps. As of recording this, the current goal is $20,000 and it costs nearly $2.8 million a day to run the hospital. So every single donation helps out and is greatly appreciated. So let's show them what the Borderlands community can do. But with all that, let's jump right into this build. Alright, so as you see, I try my hardest to make this cryo and radiation themed skin right here. I think I did a pretty good job. So I hope you guys enjoy the theme of that. But starting off with the weapons, and before you click off, yes, this is a face punch build. I have not made one in a while, but trust me, this is going to play a little different than what you probably think. Now, I'm just going to tell you why, because we're going to be running body and mind right here to make our face puncher essentially do a lot of splash damage. Since this is going to be a cryo and radiation build, we're going to have cold hearted right here as our action skill, and we're going to be taking 5 points in infusion to let our face puncher do cryo damage. But not only that, since we're running the cryo and body and mind, we're also going to be emitting cryo novas constantly. Now, for the artifact, we're actually going to be running the Atom Bomb Deathless for the main part. If you don't know what this is going to do, it's going to reserve your health to 1 since it's the Deathless, and the Atom Bomb is basically going to make your radiation explosions just better. And we're going to be running a URAD face puncher. So now whenever we kill an enemy, we're going to be releasing a cryo nova on top of a radiation nova, and hence the name Toxic Frost Amara. This is obviously going to be doing cryo and radiation damage to a lot of enemies. Now we're also going to be running the Kensei right here as well. As you see, we have points in our melee skills over here, which are No Mistakes in Nature and Joyful Freedom. And we're going to be stacking a lot of melee damage up to make the face puncher do more damage, which is really nice. Now, the way this is going to work is, in No Mistakes in Nature, whenever you inflict a status effect, which we will be doing all the time since we're doing cryo and radiation a lot, we're going to have 91% more melee damage since we have 7 out of 5. Now, for Joyful Freedom, we have 112% melee damage whenever you activate her action skill. Now, if you don't know, you can actually Fate Grasp with this, and if you see in the bottom, you're going to be stacking this up 112% damage each time. So we're at 3 stacks now. So we're at 300. Now we're at 400. 500% melee damage right here. And all you have to do is just keep Fate Grasping. And this can go up to like 6. I think I've got it to 7 sometimes. But you're normally going to hover around 4 or 5 because it obviously eventually, goes down and it doesn't last forever. The duration is 12 seconds. But that is kind of the overall theme of the build. Just keep Fate Grasping to get a lot of melee damage stacked up. And then you're going to have these cryo radiation novas going everywhere, freezing everything, killing everything, and it's crazy. But now, obviously, that's not the only part of the build. We also are going to be running a Frozen Heart with on Active Skill Star, activate any effects that trigger on Shieldbreaker Fill. This is going to be really good with the active skill we're going to be running, which is the Eternal Fist. If you don't know, this is actually going to proc every time it changes to another enemy. So you phase grasp enemy, you proc the Nova, it's going to go to another one, it's going to proc the Nova, and it keeps repeating up to 4 targets. Now, since I was just talking about Fate Grasping, you want to do that, get your melee damage up. This is more of a utility thing. If there's a lot of enemies around, you really need to freeze people, you can phase grasp an enemy, and you're going to be able to clear out an entire battlefield. But if you want to use it a lot, we're actually also going to be taking a point in Combo Breaker, since melee damage is our main focus of this build on top of making those novas. You're gonna have a 20% chance to actually reset this, which does happen more than you think. So that is just a utility thing. It's good for survivability since we're already running a Deathless and Frozen Heart. You can quickly just phase grasp the enemy to freeze everything so nothing shoots at you, and you're also going to get bonuses from other skills like Go with the Flow right here. So when you freeze enemy, you're going to get more gun damage and movement speed. So we have a Fish Slap right here as well. This is just, since it's, you know, really focused on melee damage, this is probably the best grenade you can run. But on Axe Skill in, get 50% bonus radiation damage. So just like the Frozen Heart, this will also work with the Eternal Fist. You're going to keep proccing this ASE over and over again to have more radiation damage. And on top of your URAD and this, plus all your cryo from infusion and body amon, you're doing a ton of radiation damage. You're causing explosions everywhere. You're freezing everything. You're blowing everything up with the radiation, and it's super, super fun. Now, for other weapons on this build, I just have a Z7 Eruption Execute just to kind of fill the slots out. These are just going to apply debuffs if you ever need them. You don't ever really need them, but if you come across a bigger enemy that you can't kill, this will be very good for just applying debuffs. Now, I also have a ×14 Face Puncher specifically for bossing, and also for bossing, I have some White Elephants over here for Corrosion, Incinerate, and Shock. Obviously the 3 main elements of the game. So these are also just help you take out bosses. Plus, since this is cryo radiation, if you ever need to swap out for a boss, say something like Grave Ward, you want to run Incinerate, you can. You're not limited to just cryo radiation, but obviously for the most part, the theme of this build is cryo radiation. But if you want to use this to farm bosses, it's more than capable of doing it. I would just recommend running a different element so you make your Face Puncher do more damage. Then also a Cut Press Launch Pad to have ammo regeneration. Since you're only really going to be using shotguns, you can just pop this on real quick, shoot an enemy, and you're immediately going to have max ammo back. But that is pretty much the gear of this build. Now let's start talking about the skills more. And Fist of Elements, we already went over Infusion. I have 3 points of Steady Hands, which makes basically all the guns on Amara just feel a lot better, and you have some points left over, so I threw them in here to get some more handling accuracy since this is a shotgun focused build. But then Illuminated Fist obviously to get some more melee damage, and it's going to make your normal melee do whatever your axe skill element is, so that's really good. 5 points in Tempest to get more elemental damage. This is just more damage on Amara, which is always really good. Then 1 point Dread, which works really well with the Eternal Fist, so whenever you kill a phase grasp enemy, it's going to reload your gun, so you can just constantly be reloading this Face Puncher over and over again if you ever use your Eternal Fist. Now in Brawl, 5 points of Root to Rise to get more max health. This I'm really just putting in here to get down to the next skill tier. I would put it in personal space, but this actually doesn't work with the Face Puncher, unfortunately, and you don't want to be regenerating your health because you want your Deathless always proc, so this is just the best place to put it. Now 5 points in Helping Hands to get 40% damage reduction whenever you use your axe skill. Again, this actually does work when you Fate Grasp, so you're always going to have 40% damage reduction when you're stacking your damage up, which is really nice. Then find your center to get more melee damage and melee range, which is really good as well. Then finally on skill tree, Mindfulness. So whenever we take damage, we're going to get more movement speed and shield regeneration delay, which is just pretty good if you just like to move around the map fast. But then I'm actually going to go over to Mystical Assault since I only have 3 points in this. I have some left over, so I just put them in Fast Hands to get more reload speed and weapon slot speed, which always can be nice. But then again, in Mystical Assault, we already went over No Mistakes in Nature, but like I said, you're going to get this melee damage bonus whenever you apply a status effect. Now, I have 5 points in Heavy Rain here, so we get more projectile speed and splash damage. The main thing is just the splash damage, which is going to help out with Body Amara right here, since you're going to be causing splash damage with the Cryo Nova. And also, as you need to get towards the bottom, so putting them in here is probably your best option. I have 3 points on Unweave of Rainbow, so whenever we freeze the enemy, we're going to do more melee and splash damage to them. So this is going to work really well with the Eternal Fist if you ever want to freeze targets, and if your Nova freezes other enemies. Then Go with the Flow. I already went over this as well, but you get more gun damage movement speed whenever you freeze a target. The movement speed is nice paired with Mindfulness. Then we already went over Combo Breaker again, but then I have 5 points on Burn Both Ends, which is going to give you a damage bonus whenever you take damage. Plus, whenever you use your action skill, enemies target you, which is really nice because now not only will you take damage, you're going to get more damage, you're also going to get Mindfulness stacks easier, which is going to make you have a lot more movement speed. Then again, Jove of Freedom we already went over. Very nice damage bonus. We already went over Body Amon as well. But then finally in Enlightened Force, the final skill, Clear the Mind. Whenever you kill an enemy, all the status effects are going to ignore whatever elemental damage resistance there is, unless they are immune to that element. So essentially, your Cryo Radiation is going to be doing max damage to every single enemy in the game, unless they're just immune. So now you're going to be able to kill absolutely everything and strictly focus on these two elements, which is always extremely nice. The skill is very powerful and probably one of Amara's best. Now, if you guys were watching earlier and you saw that I had a point in Ebb and Flow, don't worry about that. That was just me doing some testing. I actually went respec before I went over this skill tree, so this is 100% the build you're going to want to go for in Enlightened Force, and then in Mystical Assault, Fist of Elements, and Brawl. These are the skills you want to take. And also for bossing, since you're really trying to proc URAD, make sure you put the Atom Bomb Deathless on first to get your health to 1, then swap over to whatever White Elephant you know, that you need to use to fight whatever boss, and you're always going to have your URAT proc on top of having your white elephant. That's just a simple tip that's going to significantly increase your damage in boss fights. Alright, well that's going to do it for the Toxic Frost Amara build. Like I said, this is a series that is driven by you guys. If you have any cool ideas, leave them in the comments. I try to read every single comment, so all of you will have a chance to be featured in a video, and you could possibly be like this video where I feature 2 people because they kind of want the same build. But I hope you guys enjoyed this. I love doing these videos. I love interacting with you guys and trying to put these together, and I also love reading all the interesting builds because you guys come up with some crazy things. But anyway, that's gonna do it all for me. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.